everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lainey. Thank you so much for stopping by. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a get ready with me and talking about adopting our newest dog, Pop-Tart. So if you're interested in seeing that, then just keep on watching. Before I get into that though, if you're new here, please remember to hit that subscribe button so you never miss another video from me. And let's hop into the video. Okay, so let's get started. Am I even... Okay. Or is that worse? Okay. All I have on my skin is I just applied some e.l.f. Moisturizer. That's gonna be my moisturizer for the day. And we're gonna get started. I'm gonna probably not be talking about the makeup too much. I'm probably gonna be using a lot of what I talked about in my 2022 favorites video just because I didn't put it away and it's just sitting on my desk. But for eyeshadow, I'm actually gonna be using the ColourPop It's My Pleasure palette. This is one of my favorite palettes from ColourPop. And one of my favorite shades of all time is this shade right here. It's called Earthshine. As you can see, a lot of it has been used. And I've been on the hunt for a dupe. And Sophie Alexandra, actually, she was doing a single shadow declutter or something. And she mentioned a Cliona shadow that was potentially a dupe for that. And so I picked it up. And it is Glazier's Mark. The only caveat is Sophie has the original formula and Cliona has since reformulated it, so it doesn't look exactly like the shadow in the pan, but I'm hoping that they look similar enough that, or even just better than Earthshine, an improvement. That would be nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same eye look on both eyes, and then on one eye I'm going to do Earthshine, the other eye I will do Glazier's Mark. So I will probably talk during that portion, but we're going to get started with the base. And as I probably said in the intro, I want to talk about what's been going on with our new dog. So I'm just going to hop right into it. Oh my god. So I got a new desk chair and I might return it because it is too wide for this opening and I can't open my drawers on either side without moving, and it's really obnoxious. Anyway, so you guys, if you've been on my channel for a while, you know I have a dog and his name is Scooter. He is a beagle and we adopted him in fall of 2020. I don't have a mirror out. We adopted him fall of 2020 and he is like our baby. He is our world. We love him so much. He's had quite a few health things ever since we adopted him, but we've gotten him in good shape and he's just like our whole world. We love Scooter. And we've always wanted a second dog. But we never knew if it was possible because Scooter is just very antisocial. He just has always not been loving of other dogs. We haven't been able to take him to a dog park. We haven't, you know, when we would take him on walks, he would howl, and we actually made really good progress on this. He would howl at like all the dogs. He would howl at like all of the dogs. And we made good progress on that. Like we taught him to like stop essentially, but he just never really wanted to be around other dogs. We would bring him to my parents' house and he was very scared. They have two boxer puppies, which they're almost 2 years old now, but they are very, very high energy, much larger than him, and just overall he's pretty fearful of them. But we actually made really good progress with that. Just over the time, the puppies have learned that not every dog wants to play, and he's learned how to be comfortable around them. And you know, we put him in doggy daycare and he does fine there. He doesn't really play. He just kind of sticks to the wall. I always call him a wallflower. He sticks to the wall and he kind of just like follows I always call them the pack leaders because at our previous daycare they called the employees pack leaders. You know, it's not that he ever did terrible with other dogs, but we knew that if we wanted a second dog, it would have to be the right dog for him. And obviously, pretty much any rescue you go to, they typically, if you have another dog, they require a meet and greet if they're a good rescue. So we always had that in the back of our mind. And we also kind of said if we were to get another dog, we need to get a bigger bed because so we previously lived in an area with really small apartments. And so we've always had a full-size bed, not like a king or a queen-size bed. And just with 2 people and a 35-pound beagle, it's tight space. There are many nights where we were like, okay, like forcing Scooter to get up and move, because not off of the bed, just like adjust his position, because it's just like impossible to sleep. So we always said, if we're gonna get a second dog, we need a bigger bed first. And that's like one of our, like, I don't want to call it a goal, but that's one of our plans for 2023, is to save up for a new bed, because not only do we need a new mattress, but we need a new bed frame and like a new comforter and like just, you know, more stuff, like box spring probably. I don't know. I've never bought a bed. I have the one I grew up, well, the one my parents bought me, used that all through college, or all through high school. When I moved into my own apartment halfway through college, I used that, and then JV and I moved in together, and I had a twin bed and he had a full, so we used the full. And so I've never bought my own bed, so I don't know, I guess a box spring. We need to like figure out our budget and stuff, but we also knew that like we didn't just want to like buy a bed to have a bed. We wanted to like, it's something you like keep for a very long time, so we want to like get the right bed for us, get the right mattress we want, get the right like bed frame. We want one with storage in it. So that's like our goal for 2023. Anyway, all that to say is we weren't necessarily planning on getting a second dog, but we knew that if the conditions were right, we would hopefully have one day. The right dog for Scooter, a new bed, what have you. One night we were laying in bed and we couldn't sleep, and we were just talking and how much we would love a second dog and how much it would be great to have a second dog cuddling in between us. And of course, JV pulls up Pet Finder, look for beagles up for adoption in the area, because we're a beagle family. We love beagles. They're our favorite dog breed. Scooter's a beagle, potentially a beagle mix, and we would love to adopt another beagle. And the good news, I guess it's not necessarily good news, but we knew we obviously wanted a rescue, and there tends to be quite a few beagles up for adoption. There's a lot of pit bulls, obviously, but you can typically find a beagle for adoption, which is strange because I feel like I've never seen a lot of beagles like out and about, but there always seems to be beagles for adoption. So anyway, so we're talking, we want, one day we'll get a dog, whatever. He pulls up Pet Finder. I'm not really paying attention. I've like moved onto my phone or whatever. And all of a sudden he like makes this noise. He's like, oh no. And I'm like, what? He's like, I just found the perfect dog for us. And so he found a adoption listing for a dog named Pop-Tart at a rescue, actually really not that far away from us. We hadn't heard of them before, but they're actually quite a big rescue in our area. And her description was just like perfect. It said she was 6 years old, she was 20 pounds, she was quiet, she was a wallflower. I was like, that's what I call Scooter. She had medium energy. She just looked like the perfect, sweetest little beagle. And so we sat there and we were like, oh, should we do it? Should we not do it? And we were basically like, it can't hurt to meet her. Which, like, obviously it can't, because we're dog people. Like, as soon as we meet her, I'm sure we're gonna fall in love with her. And so that night, it was like 11:30 at night. I filled out the adoption form online, and the next morning, 8 a.m., I had an email asking from one of the volunteers asking when I can hop on a phone call, because our previous dog, the way that rescue worked is basically like you go there. It was also during the height of the pandemic where like everyone was adopting dogs. you basically went there, you filled out an application. If they thought you were good, you could take your dog home that day. This rescue is different. They so you first started out with like a phone call. They told you a little bit about their adoption process and a little bit about the dog you were interested in. After that, you schedule a meet and greet. And if you have a dog, you have to bring your dog at their shelter. And so we did that, and I was just like in shock. Like, they just immediately, Scooter and Pop-Tart got along immediately. They weren't like playing or anything, but they were sniffing each other. They couldn't stop sniffing each other. Scooter is usually fearful of other dogs, but he just like went right up to her. He was a little nervous. I think he thought we were like dropping him off there, like it was some sort of weird doggy daycare or something. But he like couldn't stop sniffing her. She couldn't stop sniffing him. And you know, the rescue was like, or the volunteer who was like facilitating the meet and greet was just like, okay, so I can tell you guys already love him. They seem like two peas in a pod. Like, they seem like a really good match. And so the meet and greet went successfully. We were like, okay, we want to do this. And so we were really, really excited. So after that, we had to wait. They do like a vet reference. So they had to like call your vet and make sure that your dog is neutered and up to date on vaccinations and heartworm tests. And so we had to wait for that, and then they also do a home check, which honestly, that was pretty pointless. Like, she didn't even like check anything. Like, she basically walked into our living room, and I was like, okay, like, what do you want to see? And she's like, I don't need to see your bedroom. So I was like, okay. And then we like went outside, but like to do a fence check, and she basically just checked that we had a fence. Like, on our fence, there's like this area where like, not at the bottom of it, but like one of the boards, there's just like a hole in it. No idea what that's from. It was like that when we bought it. It honestly just looks like it's like a natural hole in like the panel, but I don't know why they would put that up if there was a hole in it. So I don't know what that's about, but the previous owners just put up a piece of like plywood in front of it, and whatever. We're gonna fix it eventually, but it's really not a priority for us. So I thought that was weird, but she just basically just made sure we had a fence. So we passed everything, and they were basically, I was like waiting for the like official, like, okay, you can adopt her. I don't know, I had this like weird thing where I was like, what if like weird miscommunication happens and like the vet says we're bad pet parents, which obviously we're not, but I had this like weird anxiety about us like not officially getting her. And I'm like using this brush. This is the Real Technique setting brush for like everything, just because I really need to wash my face brushes. But it's working out. So I just had this like weird anxiety that there would be like some sort of weird miscommunication. And like, I don't know, because like we switched vets because we moved, and like we technically haven't had like a full year at our new vet. So I'm like, what, like he hasn't gotten all his vaccinations there. What if like the records didn't get like moved over or something, which like, I don't know. I was just being silly. But we passed, and we were able to pick her up on a Saturday. So we put Scooter in daycare just to kind of not knock him out, but like exhaust him a little bit, because we wanted to like set him up for success. So we kind of wanted him to be like kind of more tired for meeting her, just so he didn't feel like super like anxious and like high strung. So he went to daycare, and then we went to go pick her up. And that was like super fast. They basically went over her medical history, the adoption contract, blah, 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 blah. And then they brought her out, and we got to take her home. And so we took her home while Scooter was still at daycare. And they recommended keeping her on a leash and then taking her from each room in the house. And something to know, so like basically, Pop-Tart's history is we don't know her history. She was rescued She's actually originally from a rescue in Kentucky, and we're in Michigan. Basically, the rescue that we adopted her from, they work with, they basically work with this adoption group, or this group that, they basically, so the rescue we work with, they work with a group that works with many rescues in the area, and basically what they are is they're a transfer group, or a transportation group that basically once a month they go down to this high kill shelter in Kentucky. This shelter really struggles to adopt out dogs, and a lot of dogs are euthanized because of that. And so this rescue group asks each of the rescues, or this transportation group asks each of the rescues how many dogs they can take in. And so the rescue we worked with, they ended up getting Pop-Tart, and we are so grateful that they did. We're so grateful that she was able to be rescued from the shelter. They said it's possible she was a failed hunting dog. A lot of the beagles that they rescue from the shelter in Kentucky are failed hunting dogs. However, I don't know enough about the hunting dog industry to like know. Like, I'm sure like there are many beagles that are hunting dogs that are like full family dogs that are like well loved and well taken care of by their families. But I also know that there are some cases where it's more like they're kept outside, they're not necessarily treated as well. I don't know enough about it. I know more about beagles being used in animal testing than I do about beagles being used in hunting. And so she may have been a failed hunting dog. She may have been a stray. She may have been given up because she does have a hernia. That's going to be fixed when she's spayed. So we knew when we adopted her that she hadn't been spayed yet, and the rescue is covering it. Their vet has just been behind ever since COVID, so they didn't want to wait to adopt her out. It's just in her adoption contract that they will cover her hernia and spay surgery. We just have to go to their vet when they tell us to go. So obviously we knew that she wasn't spayed, and so we knew there was a 2 out of 12 chance because beagles have, they go into heat 2 times a year. We knew there was a 2 out of 12 chance that she would go into heat. And we brought her home. We kind of finished taking her throughout the rooms when I noticed some droplets of blood. And of course, she was actively in heat when we brought her home, which obviously, like I said, we knew was possible. We were just hoping wouldn't be the case. So that was a challenge to navigate, kind of figuring out how to prevent it from like getting on the floor everywhere and like everything. It's been about 2.5 weeks since we adopted her, and she is finally at least out of the bleeding portion of heat. From my understanding, they also there's a period of time after they're done bleeding where they're still like fertile and like trying to mate. She keeps trying to court Scooter and he's like, I don't know what to do, I'm neutered. But yeah, so that's been a challenge. One we again was hoping wouldn't happen, but did, and that's okay. The hardest part is over now. But yeah, it was definitely a challenge. But I'm just glad she's done bleeding. We actually took her to the vet on Monday, or JV did, and we found out she also needs to get one of her teeth removed. It's broken, so that's fun. But she's doing really good. She is so small and so loving and so cuddly. She is really just such a great dog. We're still working on some training with her. She's been occasionally having some accidents in the house, so we're still working on that. But it is hard because not only, I believe the hernia can cause increased urination, and also being in heat can cause increased urination. And she's been doing better the past couple days now that she's, I think, coming out of her heat cycle. I'm really not an expert in dogs and heat, so I don't know, take this with a grain of salt, but it's getting better, so that's really good. We still need to work on like sit, stay, come, those kind of commands, but overall she's doing really well. So honestly, I'm not sure that she probably was a hunting dog because she really doesn't have any basic, like I feel like if they're a hunting dog, they should probably know, like, come, sit, stay. But also I know that when you transfer environments, you kind of have to relearn. They might have to do some relearning. So I don't know. We don't know her past, but we're so glad that she is in our home and we'll have a loving forever family. And honestly, you guys, I was talking to my mom this morning about it, and she is seriously the best thing that ever happened to Scooter. Scooter is the best dog. Like, I love him so much. But he's always been a really anxious dog. He, you know, was never like the friendliest, outgoing dog. And we've made so much good progress with him. Like, we got him on Prozac, and he's just like made leaps and bounds, like getting comfortable with us going away without him and comfortable with my parents' dogs, and he's made leaps and bounds. But like, adopting Pop-Tart has been just like the best thing for him. He has grown so much. He lets her cuddle with him in bed, and he has tried to play with her. He's never played with a dog ever since we adopted him. He's always been fearful. At daycare, he doesn't play. He's a wallflower. He's on the walls. He's with the pack leaders. Like he doesn't play, and he keeps trying to initiate play with her, and it's just like, it's just amazing to see him like be a dog. Okay, I think I'm back. I am sorry. I really was not expecting to like get emotional about this, but like, to see Scooter like try to initiate play and just be loving to another dog, and like genuinely like just like not even just like tolerate being around her, but like they've cuddled in bed. Now granted, it's usually Pop-Tart trying to initiate the cuddling, but like he lets it happen. Or like this morning, I was sitting on the couch, I was editing the video and like drinking my tea, and so Scooter got on the couch first, and he was just like sitting. He wasn't laying down, he was just sitting, and Pop-Tart got on after him, and she kind of just like laid down next to him, and he laid down with his head on her. And I'm just like, this dog has grown so much, and it's just incredible to see. Like, it's just amazing. And if you've always had really friendly dogs, and it's not that he was like aggressive or like a mean dog, but just like an antisocial dog, like it's just incredible to see him like grow so fast with her. And another thing he's been doing is I noticed that he started licking her ears. And so I Googled, like, what does that mean? Like, could she have an ear infection? She doesn't have an ear infection. But basically, from what I read this article from this vet clinic, and basically it is a sign of just like they're getting along, and he loves and respects her. And I thought it was funny, the article said something about how it's typically done by the more submissive dog, and like he is definitely the more submissive dog. He just kind of like, Pop-Tart is just so much more assertive and just like, I'm here, and like plows her way through him and like will push him around. And he's definitely just kind of like lets it happen. He always just like when he gets his nails done, or we put on him in like a coat or something, like he just kind of like he lets it happen. But yeah, she's definitely the more dominant dog. So I thought it was funny, the article was like, it's usually performed by the more submissive dog, but like he will lick her head, he'll lick her ears, and it's like just considered like an act of grooming, since like dogs can't groom their ears or their head. They can't do it themselves. It's typically done by like other dogs. So I just thought that was really really, really sweet, and I'm just over the moon with how well they've gotten along. I honestly thought them getting along was going to be the hardest challenge and transition, but honestly the hardest part has been her being in heat. But overall, it's just been like a really good thing for our family, and I feel like she rounds it out, and she does well. We brought her to, we always bring our dogs everywhere. But we brought them to Christmas, and she just got along great with the puppies, my parents' puppies. I feel like they'll always be called the puppies because they're younger than our dogs. But She did amazing with them. She just went right up to him, and Scooter loved it. Like, he was like the most fine he's ever been with them, because like they were not paying attention to him. They were paying attention to the new dog. And honestly, they're a male puppy. They're both neutered, so it was fine that she's not spayed yet. Was honestly being a little like, not like territorial, but just like following her around and kind of being like intimidating. So really he was the problem. But overall it went really, really well. Yeah, it's just amazing, and she loves meeting new people. She's just a really great dog, and even though we have a small bed and 2 people and 2 dogs to fit in it, it's been just like the best thing. So now we are prioritizing on working on getting a new bed. Need to figure out how much this is all gonna cost us, because we need a mattress, a new bed frame, a box spring. If that doesn't come with the mattress, I don't know. New bedding. I gotta work on that next. We honestly, like, when we move, we prioritize getting stuff for like the kitchen and the living room before anything else, because that's the room that like people, when they come over, see the most. So now we can officially work on that and figure out what we want. But that is the story of us adopting Pop-Tart and bringing in a new dog to our family. No more dogs. I don't want a 3rd dog. It's not gonna happen. As much as I would like all of the beagles in the world and to save them and rescue them. I also just want to say, if you are in the market for a new dog, I would just really just hope you consider adoption. There is a big adoption crisis going on in the US right now. There are so many dogs needing homes and shelters. You know, during the pandemic, it was like the dogs just kept flying out of the adoption areas. Like, people were adopting dogs left and right. But now the shelters are really struggling with getting dogs adopted out. So I know situations are different in other countries where rescues aren't as common. People are more responsible with getting their dogs spayed and neutered. But if you're in the US or in a country that has a lot of rescues, I really hope that you consider adoption if you are considering bringing a dog or a cat in your family. The shelters here in the US are really struggling right now. And so if you are looking to bring a new dog into your home, I really hope you consider adoption. But you can find a dog that suits your lifestyle, suits your needs, suits your personality. A lot of these rescues, they want to make sure that they pick the best match for the dog. And so if you are considering it, please consider adoption. This palette from ColourPop, It's My Pleasure, is just so good. It's still good after all of these years. I think that is all I have to say about Pop-Tart. I'm sure I will give you guys updates like I do with Scooter, but Scooter's been doing great with her. He's been doing great on Prozac. He's been doing great. We kind of put a pause on his like separation anxiety training, but he had been doing really great, and we weren't really concerned about it. We're excited. We haven't tried leaving them home alone together yet, so we're gonna do that soon and just see. Like, I feel like he's just gonna be like fine. I don't know, we'll see. But he's been doing great. The Prozac has not been, if I said this in a Get Ready With Me, you know, not too long ago, but because Scooter has epilepsy, Prozac may or may not increase his seizures, and luckily they haven't. He's had maybe like one more than usual, but it's not like consistently he's having more seizures. So the Prozac is doing well. So my little anxious boy is doing a lot better. So now I'm ready to try out both eyeshadows. I am excited to see how this goes. I'm going to do one eye at a time. So on this eye, I'm going to do Earthshine on its own. And then the other eye, I'm going to do Glazier's Mark. The swatches Sophie had sent me, because I had commented on her video, they looked exactly, like nearly identical. And so I was really excited, but obviously there's the caveat that Cleon reformulated. So We're gonna find out. The shade is so soft. The shade Earthshine, I had to have this palette resent to me because it came busted originally, and then it came busted again, so I got a refund. And let's find out. Oh my god, this shadow is so pretty. And I know this shadow, I've heard like in newer versions of the palette it's not the same. So if you're thinking like, why is this shadow so magical to you, I've heard that they have changed the formulation of it. But like, it's just so pretty and so sparkly, and I can't describe why I love it so much. It's just so pretty. It's just a light lavender with blue sparkles, and I really love it. So I'll do a close-up, I think, after I do Glazier's Mark. So I know that it might not be the same because they don't look the same in the pan, and then they've reformulated, but it does still look like a really pretty shadow regardless, I'm sure. So we're gonna find out. I think it's definitely gonna be more sparkly, which I will enjoy in that regard. Let's see. Okay, I pulled it out of my palette, so I just have the single right here. Definitely looks different on the brush, but let's see. Ooh, this is like Earthshine, but like better. I believe they made this formula a little more opaque when they reformulated it. Okay, so obviously you can tell there's a difference. The base, I think it's just more of the blue reflect is a lot more prominent. The base honestly looks the same, but on this eye, the blue reflect is a lot more subtle. But honestly, I think it's like a just like big improvement on Earthshine, because like looking at it now, I mean, this is also old, so I can definitely tell the shine is not what it used to be. But honestly, I think it's a case where it's just like better than the original. I still like both. They're not exact dupes, but I think it's kind of a case of the dupe is better or the shade is better. I'm gonna go ahead and put Glazier's Mark on the other eye so it's more similar, so it matches closer. Words are hard. I'm gonna just go ahead and wet the brush since I already applied glitter glue underneath the original shadow. Oh, so pretty. This shade is pretty. I'm really glad I picked it up. I'm also really grateful that the dogs are being quiet because Pop-Tart's nails are so loud on our floor. They're not too long on her, but they're sharp. Like they need to be dremeled instead of just cut. Okay, so I applied Glazier's Mark to both eyes. Really, really pretty. I'm gonna figure out what I want to do for the inner corner. I still have my single shadows coordinated by color. I haven't put them away yet because I'm waiting to film that video. I'm gonna take Nokomis from Davina. It's like you can't see. It's like an ultraviolet iridescent shade. Cleona has similar shades to this. Terra Moons has similar shades to this. I think a lot of brands that have iridescent shades have shades similar to this. It's like a transparent base with the purple shift. It just looks white on camera, but I promise the effect is there. You can't really tell, but it's fine. I really don't feel like doing eyeliner today, but I feel like this look needs it. I actually don't know where my eyeliner is. Story of my life. So I'm just gonna do mascara because I don't feel like doing eyeliner anyway. I am waiting for January 1st to come around so I can open a new mascara, because that way I can know like every 3 months I like to change my mascaras. So I bought a couple new ones and I'm very excited about it. And I have a couple minis, so I think I'm gonna open one full size and one mini, even though I want to try both of the new ones I bought. But I'm gonna be patient because I don't have a reason to. This mascara is definitely at the end of its life. I'm not loving it like I did when I first got it, but that's okay. So I have a little bit of a dry patch on my lip, but I'm gonna go ahead and apply liquid lipstick. Anyway, this is Luna from Menagerie. I think it's gonna go really well. Cool. Not the best liquid lipstick application, but it'll work. Okay, I think I'm done. Yeah, I don't want to put anything in the waterline. This is my look. I'm wearing my Beagle Freedom Project hoodie. I am ready to film some Project Pan intros. That's what I'm going to be doing today, so I'm really excited for that. Look forward to that. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and watching through this Get Ready With Me. If you're still sticking around, I really hope you enjoyed. Leave a dog emoji if you've made it this far in the video, because I'm sure this video is like 30-40 minutes long. But that's the story of how we adopted Pop-Tart. Oh, I never said. We decided to keep her shelter name Pop-Tart. I wanted to change it to Poppy, but JB wanted to keep it. And so I told him, if we keep her name Pop-Tart, can I pick up the paint for the living room? Because we haven't been able to agree, and he agreed. So that's why her name is staying Pop-Tart. But we call her Pop-Tart, we call her Poppy, Pops, Poopy, all the little nicknames. She definitely also has had puppies at some point, so we also call her Mama. We call her Little Mama. But anyway, that's the story of Pop-Tart and how Scooter's getting along with her. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, leave a comment if you like down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!